One-on-One with Jane Mitchell, featuring the legends.
To borrow a line from Frank Sinatra, David Wells did it his way in a city that never sleeps, New York, and in his hometown, San Diego. His way meant delivering in bigger-than-life proportions, seemingly part Teflon, bouncing back and enduring pain for more than 2 decades on the mound. We have shared his story one-on-one while he wore a Padres uniform, and now in retirement, we will see how he is giving back to a place he loves. What makes him a legend includes his being colorful, controversial, candid, and in control. And it all started as a kid growing up in San Diego.
Got him looking.
The hefty lefty has played in baseball's biggest cities, in the most intense spotlight. As a Padre, he has brought all that to the mound with a bonus.
I couldn't be happier playing, at home where I grew up.
While some people run from their past, David Wells has always gravitated back to it, specifically Ocean Beach, an earthy community.
Ocean Beach is the job without the J. That's why you got OB.
Yes, he's enjoyed the finer things a Major League Baseball salary, 2 World Series rings, and 3-time All-Star success can bring. VIP treatment, a beautiful wife and children, hanging with rock stars, appearances on late-night talk shows, and Saturday Night Live.
Hello, ladies. Your husbands are looking very sexy tonight.
But he's also dealt with the flip side of fame. Media scrutiny, he says, mostly in the East.
Terrible back there. If they don't like you, they're going to try to bury you. They're going to put you in there all the time. A lot of negative things, and that's something that they feel that they can make or break you, and especially in New York.
After last wearing a New York Yankees uniform in 2003, he had back surgery and signed with the Padres as a free agent for the 2004 season.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Along with his stellar big league stats, winning more than 200 games, he indeed came with a reputation as a guy with an edge who liked post-game nightlife and didn't like to work out. Yet moving home at 40, he was nearly 20 pounds lighter, in shape. As for the partying part of his unofficial resume,
so far you haven't lived up to that. Is it just maturity, just sort of growing up, or is it just being back home?
The kids are getting older, and it's something that your body can take it for so long. We went out socially, and it's not you try to go out and get hammered every night. That's just not the way to do it. We do have a job to do, and you want to be your best that day if you're playing. But just coming back home, it's just I'm so relaxed.
Sitting in shorts and flip-flops, he certainly seems relaxed, considering all he's been through. As described in his autobiography, Perfect I'm Not, boomer on beer, brawls, backaches, and baseball. There's a bit of his naked truth, so parental discretion is advised.
It's more about baseball and, a little bit about me growing up, a little bit about my mom, my history.
Let's go back to your foundation, to Ocean Beach. Describe a day for David Wells growing up. What was that like for you?
Waking up, cooking some eggs. As a kid, probably about 7, 8 years old, my grandma bought me a skillet because I always watched my mom cook, so I always wanted to cook, and I'd get in there and dabble. And so my grandma would, for my birthday, would always give me a 24-pack of eggs. We lived a block away from the beach, so put my trunks on and walk right down the beach and just go down there and spend the whole day.
David and his sister, 2 of 5 siblings, lived with their mother in this apartment complex. The party spot on weekends for her and her Hells Angels friends. David didn't come to know his father until years later.
Anybody ever messed with us or, anything of that sort, she was the first one to step up. But, at times money was hard. We lived on welfare. And the worst thing about it is at Safeway, when we were there, she'd make me go to the store with the food stamps, and I'd be there for hours because I knew everybody in the store, and I didn't want nobody to know, so I'd just be going up and down every aisle. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Waiting for everybody I knew to leave, and then grab my stuff, what my mom wanted, and boogie out. So, but that's how it was. We did a lot, a lot to survive. As a survivor, you grow up on the streets, you learn how to grow up quick, and that's what I did.
How'd she get her name, Attitude Annie?
Probably from a lot of the Hells Angels that she hung out with. She, you know, she just didn't take any crap from anybody, and you know, if someone gave her any crap, she'd haul off and nail them, and that was her reputation.
You too?
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
My mom and I would have some good, you know, knockdown, drag out, you know, wrestling matches. And I mean, it never got to the point where it was a slugfest, but you know, if I got in trouble, you know, she'd let me have it, and you know, and let me know who's boss. It was neat as a kid. On Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, it was just motorcycles all the way around, and the parties, you know, were going on. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun for the kids. You know, they all treated us, all the bikers, the Hells Angels, they treated us kids, you know, like one of their own. And, you know, they're getting a bad rap.
And they came to your Little League games sometimes?
Oh, yeah. They came.
You write about that in your book. It's like, wow, that's quite a fan club.
They did. And the people would look and just like, are you kidding me? They were scared. You know, it was awesome. But, you know, it was kind of cool because I'm out there pitching. And I was just like, my chest was out to here. I was like Superman.
An afternoon with him,
That's little David right there.
his boys,
Yep,
and wife Nina
just like
is a walk down memory lane.
Well, this is my sanctuary. Hey, we got to go around. That's locked.
The OB Recreation Center.
I mean, it was crazy. We played stickball here. This is where we learned how to play stickball. Pitching mound right here. You know, you try to hit it up into the house. But I won my first skateboard contest right here. Sprung, and I jumped over 10 of them and landed on the board. 10 cones
my gosh.
and landed on the boards. That's what won me my gold wing trucks. Terrorized the neighborhood. Going in and out of everyone's yards. We used to pick the locks and come in here. Every day I would, especially in high school, I would, you know, usually I'd ditch. And I'd come right here. That's where I come. We get every day at 1 o'clock. We play basketball games just nonstop. We play, you know, we play from 1 to 3:30. Go down to Rockville from 4 to 6:30, and then come back here from 7 to 9:30. Every day we played it. I mean, it was stupid.
He worked at basketball, his first love, but baseball would be the ticket to his future.
I just had the natural, you know, ability and the talent. You know, even when I was in Little League and I was pitching.
At Point Loma High School, talent wasn't enough. To stay on the team, he had to work to at least get passing grades, convinced of that by a stern coach.
He gave me a reality check and, you know, says, you got a talent that it's unbelievable. Do something with it, because you never know what's going to happen.
He got back on track, throwing hard, more than 90 miles an hour, even pitching a perfect game. The Pointers won the CIF championship in 1982. Wells was courted by colleges and drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays in the second round.
I wasn't a school guy, and I think they knew it, so I ended up signing, taking the money and running.
Every legendary career starts somewhere. For David Wells, it was the Toronto Blue Jays farm team in Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. By his third year in the minors, he needed elbow surgery and a year to recover. Discouraged, he was ready to call it quits until a talk with his pitching coach.
You're going to go home and bang nails, work in a restaurant for the rest of your life? It was just rehabilitate your arm. Just go through, you got good people to do it. I took a chance and, you know, the rest is history.
A history with a tough and contentious learning curve.
Toronto was bad. They were fining me $100 a day. You know, for every pound I was overweight. Despite the team I didn't really care for, I still went out and did my job.
Part of the 1992 world champion Blue Jays. Even so, he didn't know his role, starter or reliever.
So just make me one or the other, all right? Just one, and then they released me. Said, take that.
So what was it like to be with in Detroit and Sparky Anderson and
That was unbelievable. Sparky gave me new life. My major league career is probably what it is today because a man believed in me. You know, it's just like his own son, and showed me how to be a man on and off the field, how to, you know, how to really accept certain things and all that, even when you're doing bad.
He did it the Wells way, choosing to crank the music of Metallica in the clubhouse.
I'm gonna pitch like they play.
After a trade to Cincinnati, then to Baltimore,
Strike three called on the outside.
David Wells was again in familiar territory postseason.
Strike three called on the inside corner.
I wanted to be the guy on the mound, any situation, even now. I mean, during a big game during a season, I want to be the man on the mound because I want to be the one because I'm not afraid to fail.
He rarely did. As an Oriole, he was known as a Yankee killer, just what the Yankees wanted, so Wells was signed to wear pinstripes with high hopes and then troubled times.
My mom passed away, and so I come back here to bury her, and you know, I think it was a day after I buried her, we were down in OB and with a bunch of friends, and we're just saying our goodbyes, and ended up getting an altercation down there, and boom, now the Yankees said, you know what?
They had second thoughts.
I was like, you know, my dreams of being a Yankee are over because of the fact I broke my hand.
They kept Wells after he was cleared. The fans loved that he was on their team, but he recalls criticism from the press for going out on the town the nights before the day he started. The night before, Sunday, May 17, 1998, was one of those nights.
You know, I went to Saturday Night Live that one night. I got home around 5 or so in the morning and just feeling pretty good. But
Had a big day that day.
Big day, huge day.
Got him on strikes, the 11th strikeout, and David Wells is down to one more out.
And became the 14th pitcher in Major League history to pitch a perfect game.
David Wells has pitched a perfect game. Baseball immortality for David Wells.
Nobody expects to go out and throw a perfect game, you know, especially in Yankee Stadium. It was in a sold-out crowd, Beanie Baby Day, and you know, it was pretty bizarre because of the fact that after like the 6th inning, you know, you throw a ball a foot outside and the fans are going nuts. They're screaming at the umpire. That's a strike, and so it became nerve-wracking to me. And then trying to talk with somebody in the bullpen was, you know, I mean, in the dugout was just. Nobody would talk to me. And then David Cohn, there's David Cohn, my boy, and he just started talking to me, and he just started letting things go and trying to take my mind off it, which I do appreciate it.
In the end, 27 batters up, 27 batters down. David Wells became the second Yankee to pitch a perfect game. The first to do it, Don Larson in the '56 World Series, called to congratulate his fellow Point Loma High grad. A magical day, making David Wells a household name, an instant celebrity.
Nice going, buddy.
Later that year, he'd face his hometown Padres in the World Series. The Yankees swept the Padres 4-0, and in 1999, the Yankees' ace was axed, traded to the Blue Jays for Roger Clemens. For the next 5 seasons between Toronto, the White Sox, the Yankees again, he pitched mostly on par, but with pain.
When you look at that time in your life, why are you thinking you can still come back and still keep pitching?
My arm has always been, you know, been there for me, bailing me out of trouble, and you know, just the rest of me started deteriorating.
After surgery, he had great comebacks, but by the 2003 World Series,
I felt like I was 90 years old on crutches.
with one last cortisone shot.
The shot took effect, and it was fine until Game 5. It just, you know, had enough. It just spasmed so bad where I was, you know, I couldn't even do it. It hurt so bad, and you know, going out that way, you just don't want to go out that way.
Choosing how he'd go out was important to him. All the more reason he seized the opportunity to return home to San Diego. That's next on One on One. David Wells reached a lot of milestones which have produced a lot of memories from his career, including one from the summer of 2004. A Sunday afternoon at Yankee Stadium. David Wells had been here many times before, but this time he's in Padres blue.
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I expected, you know, some cheers, but a lot of boos. But when that whole stadium stood up, I was like, wow. I had to step off. I was like, oh man, am I gonna cry? Am I gonna break down and do this? I'm like, Nah, I ain't gonna do it. Just tip your cap and go get them.
Wells has long stayed connected to his hometown
You going to Dolphin Tanks?
and old friends. Where he once borrowed boards at South Coast Surf Shop, he now can afford to have them custom made.
He's never forgot where he came from and forgotten us.
In '92, the world champion Blue Jay donated $50,000 for Point Loma High's new gym.
I bet your mom's proud of you.
She is. I know she's looking down, her and my grandmother, and, you know, smiling.
Have a good day.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. People perceive me to be this one dude. I'm not that guy. You know, at one point I was, but I'm not that guy anymore. I just want to relax.
He's really not everything that the press says that he is, like this wild and crazy guy. I mean, he's got his moments, don't get me wrong.
Nina and David met while he was living in her native Florida in 1994 during the baseball strike.
A girlfriend of mine was trying to set him up with another girlfriend of mine.
He and Nina clicked instead.
He kept calling her, "Who's that Nina girl?" and all that. And my girlfriend was telling him, "You don't have a shot in the world, don't even try."
They married in 2000.
Not bad for a guy who had no chance, huh?
Nina was a successful real estate broker, then the businesswoman behind the David Wells Charitable Foundation for 7 years. After having their son, she's back as a runway model for high-end fashion shows. And after the 2004 season, when David fired his agent, Nina, his biggest fan, took on that role.
I think that my own personal feelings got in the way of the negotiations a lot, and it was just a lot of pressure for me because I was scared that I was going to end up doing something that he wouldn't be happy with.
He wanted to stay in San Diego, but ended up taking a Red Sox offer he couldn't refuse. And his time in Boston in 2005, generally positive. But after asking to be traded, his '06 started like this.
When I was walking out to warm up, I got booed. And then every hit I gave up, I got booed. Every walk I gave up, booed, especially when I gave up the home runs. I mean, it was terrible.
On top of that, knee issues.
I rehabbed it and I got it to where it felt great. And then the line drive.
Right back off of Wells, and he goes down hard as it hits him in what appeared to be the leg area.
Yeah, I think his knee.
Right on the knee that I had surgically repaired. And, what are the odds of that?
Finally pitching again in late summer was good timing for a trade back to the Padres in 2006 and a move into his new Rancho Santa Fe mansion. The team eventually clinched the division, but that day we talked, he said he was looking forward to retiring.
I want to feel good after baseball so I can, watch my kids grow up and have some fun.
A big guy, he admits he's put weight and pressure on his knees and knows that what's kept him pitching at times, doctor-approved cortisone shots and anti-inflammatories, have taken a toll.
And if you keep taking them, it's not good for you.
On the other hand,
if they keep throwing the money at you, why turn it down? But 25 years of professional ball, I think is, it's good enough. Maybe I can use my knowledge to help guys. Your failures are your biggest asset. That's how you learn how not to do something.
it's a spring afternoon in San Diego, and the Point Loma High School Pointers are getting an earful, delivered with a lot of heart and matter-of-fact guidance from the David Wells.
That guy was very hittable yesterday.
An alum, a formidable former big leaguer, and a guy they call coach. Some, including Seth Urban and Jason Pappas, were starstruck at first.
I wasn't really sure what I would be able to do, like what to ask him, but now this year, I feel way more available to go talk to him about whatever I need.
I watched maybe one or two of his starts at Petco as a Padre, which is pretty cool that now he's here every day with us.
After 3 years as the Pointers' pitching coach, David Wells accepted the baseball head coach position, with 2015 his first season at the helm.
All I care about is you guys coming here and putting in a good performance. Win or lose. Win or lose, I could care less. Winning's everything, but losing's part of the game.
It's a new chapter since his playing career ended. Back in August of 2007, he didn't factor into the Padres' potential playoff plan after a rough inning on the road in St. Louis.
Nobody wants to get that type of news, but Bud Black called me in his office and Kevin Towers was on the phone, and released me that way.
3 weeks later, he signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
But I got to pitch against the Padres twice. Beat them once and a no decision against them, so that was kind of, bittersweet. But, I'm still a Padre fan. I root for them, but not that year I didn't.
Right. So when did you make the decision that you were done, you were retiring, or was it sort of made for you?
Well, it was by design, I guess, because I've always told people I said, let them rip the jersey off your back. Play until they say no more. Well, it was no more. I tried getting a job with everybody. Just a minor league invite. I couldn't even get that.
He went to spring training to do radio for San Diego's Scott and BR show.
Just being involved with that, because you miss it. It was the toughest year of my baseball career, not playing, knowing that it was over.
Then Turner Broadcasting hired him for commentary on postseason and other shows.
It was just one thing. It was a great job. Working with Cal Ripken and Dennis Eckersley.
He also split spring training time between the Yankees and his alma mater, while still knocking on doors.
I've been trying to get in the big leagues or any minor league jobs in professional, and it's just tough to crack. So, I found my calling here, and hopefully it's my first year, and if it works out, great. They have other plans, and I'm fine with it. But to see this field being built. The smile on these kids' faces coming here every day, on a facility that they don't have to worry about getting hurt on, that's gratifying.
That's because of a makeover of the David Wells Field, rededicated in 2014, with the other Point Loma grad and 1956 Yankee perfect gamer Don Larson on hand. David Wells wanted to pay for it himself, but says too many political issues nixed that plan. Funding from a school bond bought new synthetic turf, a running track, and more, all shared between the high school, Dana Middle School, and the public. Along with the boosters, David and Nina started the David Wells Classic Golf Tournament, raising more than $130,000. That and their personal checks have purchased things including new uniforms, pitching and hitting machines, and field maintenance equipment. What's it like to see your name up there, the David Wells Field?
I smile every time I see it, every day that I'm here. It's a great honor, and and hopefully that I do my job and represent it well.
What's your coaching philosophy? Because I have a feeling you're a pretty tough coach.
No, I just took in all the things that I've learned, through my 26 years of professional baseball. Is first and foremost, be on time. Stretch, get loose, and then and the pitchers are on the mound, and everybody be ready. Values of the game, teaching them everything I know about it, especially the pitchers, but other things that I know that I wasn't a good hitter, but I know about hitting. I know how good hitters hit against me.
He has so much to bring with the fundamentals of everything, but a lot of baseball's mental, so when he brings that to the table, he can teach you so much because he's been so successful.
You have a high standards, though? I mean, you want him to listen, you want him to respect,
100%.
You want him to...
100%, you have to. I'm not out here to babysit.
He tells us how it is, but it helps us learn, and he really makes us push ourselves to get better every day, which is how he wants us to learn and take that to the next level, hopefully.
Zero communication right there. I did not hear a word.
What about the parents? How is that dealing with parents?
There's a couple, but, I don't mind. I had my meeting with them. I just said, listen, I don't want to hear your complaints about your kid not playing and this and that. The reason if he's not playing, if he's not starting, is because there's somebody better than him at that position. But I do teach, I teach the game out here. Come on, let's go. He should be able to read them. If you guys don't know the signs, you're going to be in trouble. That's the detail I'm trying to tell you guys. You guys are content with one out. If you can get two, why not get two, right? Pay attention to detail. That's all we got to do. If you pay attention to detail, we don't have these problems.
David Wells and his friend and now assistant coach David Camara were on the last Pointers team to win CIF 3 decades ago.
I brought my World Series rings and my CIF pendant that we won 1982. We're the last ones to win here. It was 82. So I brought them, I put them in the dugout. I said, guys, touch them, put them on. Whatever. I said, this is what you do as a team.
With his success, he's provided handsomely for his family. An elegant home where we met his animals.
This is Bruce Bochy right here. Look, check him out. Check him out. He wants to eat.
This is David's baby.
This is my favorite. This is Cabela.
Big guy, little dog.
Right. And saw his hunting prizes.
Just the thrill of the hunt is pretty spectacular.
Nina has resumed her career, a real estate agent for professional athletes nationwide. Nearing the empty nest downsizing stage, their mansion is for sale, with plans to spend more time on the road in their new RV. As for their boys, Brandon is pitching at Eastern Nazarene College near Boston, finishing his sports management degree. Lars plays JV baseball at Santa Fe Christian, a drummer aspiring to master in music in college. Reflecting on his own journey of skipping college, David Wells has this advice for his sons and young players about baseball careers.
I don't care if you move on to that. Just get an education, and when you go out to the big real world that we have out here, then it's game on. Then you got to understand it. Thanks.
At 52 and his diabetes under control, he is enjoying his family, golf and hunting time, proud of his career, and to pass along what he's learned. Older and wiser, all part of his legacy.
Just try to send a positive note and do good things, and everything else will follow.
Well, we think you're a legend.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it.
So that's why you're here.
Family's doing good, and I got a job. I'm something to do every day. I'm not bored as I used to be, but it's good. Life is good.
David Wells makes a strong first impression with his charisma and candor and all he's accomplished, from a poor kid in Ocean Beach to pitching the elusive perfect game. While his name still carries a lot of weight as a celebrity icon, the return to his roots as a high school baseball coach reveals yet another impressive quality of this legend: giving back. I'm Jane Mitchell. Thank you for watching One on One.
For backstory content, visit 4sd.com.